everyone. I am Rhonda with Sawgrass. Welcome to our Learn with Sawgrass series. Kesley has some great stuff for you today about some trends and products for the holiday season and some other great information. So I will go ahead and get that over to her. Kesley, we are so excited to hear from you today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rhonda. Welcome, everybody. Just some quick, this is a little bit different than we normally do because normally we're showing you how to make the products and going through the process. But as I started looking at products that are trending and how to bring that to you, it was too much for one class. So instead, I pivoted and I thought we could focus on some of the trends and do a little bit of a deeper dive on where you find trends and how to kind of work that out. So, without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen and I can walk us through my presentation. And it will just take a moment to get there. And I just need to switch that over to present. And let's see if that'll work. All right. So, our presentation is, and I need to one more thing, just exit that out. Okay, so today's workshop is about sublimation trends and what the market trends are. So first, I wanted to talk about what was being seen in the market and where to kind of start finding that information. So initially, the first searches for holiday on websites like Etsy begin in July and August timeframe. And then you have a steady growth through November and then it falls off. So that tells me that by the end of August, getting into September, you really want to have your plan going into the holidays. So have your items picked out, know sort of how you want to position them. I would say mid-September, and you can start launching going after Labor Day in the section. So when you can go to Etsy and pull up the seller handbook article, and it goes through some of the insights and trends that they're seeing on Etsy, what's coming up. So I geared this next portion of the presentation sort of around what's happening on Etsy. So one of the key things to focus in on, because you have your blanks and then it's like, well, what's trending? What do you put on there? So four key trends are the farmhouse, sustainable, retro, and classic. Now, sustainable and classic are some newer trending, whereas farmhouse and retro, they've been around for a while. Farmhouse has probably been around the longest, as some of you probably are already making, have been making farmhouse themed items. So when you're thinking about farmhouse, that category is rustic, it's cozy, it's wintry. So I pulled out a few items that probably are staples in your lineup. So obviously mugs and ornaments. Pillows may be something new in your lineup, and I want to kind of focus on pillows just for a moment because when you have a pillowcase that has a specific theme to it, like if it's a Halloween theme or winter theme, you're going to want to change that cover over repeatedly. So if you're selling pillowcases, you can put a little note on the inside of the pillowcase as to where that pillowcase was purchased. So as we transition from um, winter into Valentine's Day and into spring, summer, back to fall, and then Christmas, that gives you the potential to sell to that same customer multiple pillowcases with a single frame. So during the holidays, it ties into that farmhouse sort of that like rustic decor, cozy type of design, but then it's something that you can carry throughout the year, whether you keep it in your rustic category, farmhouse style, or you transition it into a different category. Um, but like when you're thinking about designs to sort of fit into that farmhouse, it's doing outdoorsy things like going to cut the family Christmas tree. So maybe that's where you're making that ornament, or it's staying in and being cozy with hot cocoa and watching a movie. All those kinds of things fit into that rustic landscape type of idea. And then the sustainable is a newer trending category. And sustainable offers you a lot of opportunity to either branch out to a new market, a new generation of buyers with possibly new designs. So your sustainable designs are going to be very neutral colors, very natural feeling, and with a focus on organic and reusable. One of the things I saw was a linen field tote bag, which we've done before, and a linen feel neoprene sleeve. And I just thought that really ties into that natural and organic feel versus the standard white neoprene. So if you're kind of going into that sustainable category, that might be something that you want to tie in. Now, I have on my display here two different pictures that really don't necessarily fall into our sublimation category. This first one are these little linen bags that you can sublimate a design on that ties in with a sustainable gift. So if you're a soap maker or a candle maker, or if you just want to sell reusable gift bags, this is a really fun category. And then you can add on the dried orange slices with the cinnamon stick. Again, that very natural feel. I think you're going to see that trending a lot. So if you want to merge two themes between sustainable and farmhouse, you may add some of this organic potpourri, if you will, to a farmhouse sign and tie that on there. And that really kind of goes together. Um, the gift wrap here, we've worked with Fabric by the Yard before, and I pulled in the gift wrap to talk about doing sustainable gifting. So not only having a sustainable gift, something that somebody's going to reuse often, like our little water tumbler up here with our wind turbines on it. Think of gifting that serves a purpose more than a single use, which I think a lot of the sublimation items do serve a multiple use item. But on the gift wrap here, we've used Fabric by the Yard. So you could sublimate on a yard of fabric either with a person's face or their name, and then offer that as a gift wrap solution that is something that they can reuse over and over again. Also, another really fun sustainable gift wrap option are tote bags that can be used as gift wrap. So, and I love this idea as that add-on to a sale. So let's say you're selling farmhouse signs and you want to have some really cute totes that coordinate with those farmhouse signs. So somebody buys a sign and say, "Oh, do you want to buy a gift wrap bag?" And you can just have it all ready to go, gift wrapped with a little tag on it or something like that. So you can kind of pull that idea through multiple genres, if you will. So then the next category is the retro design. So this is that 70s, 80s, 90s style with the disco ball, the kind of going in with the vibe. I always think when I think of retro, I think of it's got a groovy vibe. It definitely has, a feeling to it. That's fun, that's groovy. Lots of the mirror items. So the items that are the sequin stockings are going to be really trendy. The sequin cosmetic bags are going to fall into this category. So I like the idea of matching the genre with the item. So if you're doing, like those sequin tote bags, you may want to grab a retro theme to go with that. And if you're customizing those, maybe pulling in a retro font for the name really kind of matches everything and brings it all together. And this 70s, 80s, 90s, I don't think this is going away anytime soon. So we'll be seeing this for another year or so. And it ties into what we're seeing trending as who we're gifting for. So so we're going to touch back on the 70s, 80s, and 90s, but it really is fun. And I know in my Sawgrass, there's a lot of last year they had a lot of the retro Christmas things. So if you missed out on that trend last year, it's still here. So you'll be able to use all those cute little trending items. Now, the next category, this was kind of a surprise to me to see this on the upswing, but then again, I'm not surprised. So this last one was the classic category, and it's sort of going back to the classic feel of the holidays. So thinking into the fall, you're thinking orange, black, and maybe some purple, but for Halloween, I'm seeing a lot of things that are just orange and black, that don't have any funky colors in it or anything like that. For the holidays, you're thinking traditional, that green and red, your blues for Hanukkah, just really traditional feel to your items. And that's where I kind of pulled in the garments, because I think along with this traditional feel and style, you'll also have some traditional items, garment items that people are going to be looking for. So I think I'm seeing a lot of trending kitchen items. And I think the as you're going into the fall and the holidays, bringing in your kitchen items and starting to promote those items early, again, with your classic black and orange for Halloween, your classic Thanksgiving colors, your browns, your greens, your burgundies, and then into the holidays are going to be red, white, and green. In the stores, you'll see a lot of traditional, like this traditional classic color scheme. I saw somebody had a really good suggestion on how they discover their color themes and what's going to be trending. They start looking at how stores are decorating their Christmas trees, and that usually falls into the trends of everything else. So some of the rising themes in who we're gifting for,
Definitely, I've
college,
never thought of that.
right?
Looking at what the store Christmas trees and the store decor is, but that's such a good way of thinking about it, especially your like department stores.
Mhm. Yeah, because you'll start seeing those trends, and they're already putting up their Christmas stuff now. So you'll kind of get a jump on everybody else if you look at that. And so these were some fun rising themes, and this is all from that Etsy report. They're seeing a rising in college gifts, and that could be in part because we're in that time of year right now where students are going back to school, and if you have a college student, you know this. If you don't have a college student, let me tell you, it is everywhere. But the way that these young adults are decorating their space is truly ties in with the another theme of individuality. The students are really embracing who they are when they go to college and creating their environment, their dorms, their apartments, to match who they are. So I think college gifts this holiday season that match an individual style is going to definitely. I have a college student, and and I see this trend. Like everything we picked out for her apartment was, well, does it fit the vibe? Is it the vibe? So so those college gifts, people are going to be looking for college gifts that show a student's individuality, and that's great because that like 18 to 23-year-old, age range is always difficult to shop for. So I'm glad that that's trending. And then friend gifts, we're seeing an uptick in purchasing gifts for friends, which that signals to me a good sign of the economy, that we're thinking outside of our family on who we're purchasing gifts for. So that kind of was a good fuel for me to see that. And then roommate gifts, with lots of people still, this is the bad side of the economy, right? People aren't buying their first homes. They're rooming with each other. You may have 4 or 5 people living together in a house. So roommate gifts is trending. And this new term, kidulting, um, you didn't hear it here first, but maybe it's a new term for you, but kidulting is reaching those kids that are in between the kid age and the adulting. So they still want that joy of being a kid, but they have the responsibility of being an adult. And I think that this ties back into self-care as well, because a lot of the items in the adulting category don't necessarily transfer over to sublimation, but that idea that we're helping the kids transition from being kids into adults, I thought was really kind of a cool concept. It reminds me of the tween phrase from about 20 years ago. Tween was all the rage. That was the word. And then book clubs and books. Books are just driving the economy right now. Reading books, discussing books, hanging out with each other and talking about books. Book club decor is a whole category in and of itself. There is Bath and Body Works has a wallflower that is like a little bookshelf, and it is sold out everywhere. It's all over TikTok and Instagram of people, showing it and sharing it. The whole book economy is on the upswing. So we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get there. So the items that I'm gonna share with you guys today are all from Heat Press Nation. And so if you go to their website and go under sublimation blanks, you'll be able to find a lot of these under there. And they had so many more that I just had to kind of pick and choose a few for some of the different categories to talk about. So one of the first one to talk about is the roommate gifts. So coasters are probably a standard for everybody, either for gifting if you're just a DIYer, or if you're selling items. Coasters are huge. We did some coasters last week. The little cardboard coasters, the hardboard coasters with the cork backing. That's what this little coaster here is, of a group of people kind of looking into each other. So you can do coasters. Really, coasters, as we know, go across all the different categories. But I thought coasters would be a really fun category if a roommate were to take a few things that maybe are special about the area that you live in, or quotes about living together. Like there's little salt and pepper, you're the salt to my pepper kind of quotes, would be really sort of a cute way to do it if you wanted to have something pre-done and then allow people to upload pictures and do the coasters. And I also think this category falls into couples as well. If you're an empty nester, maybe it's just you and your spouse, or you pre-kids, it's just you and your spouse. So those roommate category also falls into couples. And I would even consider, if you're going to a market, marketing specific gifts for somebody who's looking for a roommate gift. And my reason for that is they may not even have their roommate on their purchase list for gifts, but by prompting them and putting up just a little sign that says great gifts for roommates, then the person who's doing the shopping might be like, oh, that's right, I need a gift for my roommate, and here it is right here. So you're just planting that little seed in their head And I also think these are, would be smaller dollar amount gifts. They're not going to be your break the bank gifts, but it's that 9, 12, $15, $20 range that is a unique gift for somebody that says, hey, I was thinking about you. That's kind of where I think these fall in. So any of your kitchen gifts, I love the pot holders. I know pot holders have been so done with the cookie recipe and the wooden spatula and things like that in there. There are so many cute ideas for pot holders um, on Heat Press Nation that I really think you can do some great things with the pot holders. And it also kind of falls into that category of the flip flops and customizing flip flops. Like a kitchen mitt isn't something nobody else is going to give somebody a kitchen mitt. So it's a good gift that you don't have to worry about replicating and somebody else getting it. And then always, your signs are a good roommate gift. Either it can be a sign that people might want to hang in their shared space, or a welcome sign, or a sign that their roommate can put on their door. The metal signs that you can then use as a dry erase board are great roommate type of gifts. Even if you did the this week type of sign that we've done before, so that roommates can communicate with each other what their schedule's like. So I just think those are really fun categories. And then we have our college student or our high school students up next. Oops, wrong way. So the notebooks are fabulous. You can do those for college students, for high school students. This also touches on that individual style, taking that one item that somebody is really interested in and having something custom made. Like that'll blow their socks off. So if you have somebody who's into sharks, you can take a notebook and have a shark background put on it, customized with their name. That personalization touch is key. I think with our college category and that adulting category, the customization is really where you're gonna hit that sweet spot by offering custom, either, hey, tell me what they're into and I'll find something to put on this clipboard, or tell me what movies they like to watch and we'll put that on the Minky blanket, or where do they like to get their drinks, or what kind of drinks do they like, and then we'll put that on a tumbler for them. So I do think you can have a conversation around the items for the college and that adulting crew that really can make some very unique and fun gift items. And then our friend group here, this sort of ties into this sort of ties into having your friends doing the book clubs, because I think of like friends with hobbies. So your friends are the ones that you're playing games with, you're going to book club with, you're in their wedding, you're, all those kinds of things where you really know your friend and maybe you have some inside jokes and you can tie into those gifts. That's a great thing. So you have like the bookmark here for your friend who's into reading, or anybody into that book category. This donut, this is the funniest thing. So this is a round mouse pad, and the donut kind of falls into that retro feel for me. Like just seeing that donut reminds me of the little retro guy with his arms. But the something like this, think outside the box, where if this is like a round mouse pad, it can also be used as a gaming pad. So if you're in a market where you have gamers, or if somebody's like, oh yeah, no, I'm looking for a gift for my friend who plays games, you can take this pad and customize it, and then you roll your dice on the pad. So that was a good one. And then your mugs and tumblers, always good. I think having a high quality product with unique artwork is what's going to set you apart. And then I think this is a new ornament or newer ornament. It is actually a glass ornament. And it's so beautiful. So I thought this one, if you're in a wedding, if you're going to a wedding, if someone's had a wedding in the year, I just think this was such a pretty ornament. And even for like a new baby, um, kind of thing. I think a lot of the ornaments that are going to sell are finding your niche customers. So maybe it's somebody who has a new home, a new dog, a new baby, and all of those first home, first baby, all the first categories is really a good niche into those ornament designs. And then lastly, and something we can talk, well, not lastly, but creating bundles. So what I'm seeing online as I'm looking at what people are selling and what seems to be selling well are bundles of items. So it's if you're doing a new driver or you want to focus on a car, or even if it's not specific that way. Like, so this is a little bundle where you have the, oops, I'm sorry, guys, I forgot to forward. You have this shade that can go up in a car, your license plate cover, your cup holders, all these sort of fun things that are, kind of one-offs. You can match your theme. So either they're perfect for like that new driver or somebody who got a new car, but then you can also match your theme. So let's say the person you're gifting this to is a big Washington Commanders fan. So you may have this in a burgundy and gold design with some football quote on it. And, the license plate might be burgundy with gold letters that say, command. I'm trying to think of what, it's not RFK anymore, what the stadium's called, the stadium name or bust. And then, of course, I'm a better fan when I have my full coffee. So you can think of like fun, cute things that tie in with their sport. And I do want to take just a moment. This is a good spot to do that and talk about. Let me stop share for 1 second. Talk about your using. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can switch my camera. I don't if you guys see me or not. I don't know. Um, but you can talk about using copyright. So one thing that I just want to stress when we're talking about like sports, when you're thinking about that individual that you're trying to gift an item to and what they're interested in, their college, it's their sports team, things like that. And just be careful if it's for personal use. There's lots of personal use items that you can get out there, but if you're reselling it or you're making it to sell, do your due diligence on the copyright. That's one thing I love about the My Sawgrass. When I go in there and I use one of the images or the fonts, I know I can make with that and sell that product and not worry about stepping on any copyright toes or any copyright infringements. So I just want to put that out there so you guys can give that consideration as you're designing and you're thinking about those individual gifts. And I'll share my screen again. Let's go back here for, yeah, okay. I haven't seen any questions pop up. So if anybody had any questions, I'm sure Rhonda's answering those. So now let's talk about once you kind of have your ideas for your themes, your products, your market, how do you get those products out there and how do you let people know that you're selling that merchandise? Videos are really what's driving information on YouTube, on TikTok, on Reels, on Facebook. The visual videos are really driving people, will drive the traffic. So a couple of different ways that you can do videos, just don't overthink it. That's always my advice. Like, don't worry about if your studio's a mess, or your hair's not perfect, or your nails aren't perfect. You just have to put that information out there, and you can do a lot of videos that you don't even have to be in. So one thing people like is studio tours, and that's a tour of your workspace. So your workspace may be really small, it may be really big, but people like to see how you have things set up. You can have your shelf with all your blanks on it and say, here's all my blanks. I'm waiting for your orders to come in so we can make them. And then I go over here and I print the order, and then I make it and I pack it up. So just filming, packing an order. That always surprises me, but people will watch that whole video of you packing up an order. So if you do something special to the orders that you pack, or if you have, 5 or 6 orders that you're taking to the post office that day, just throw your camera on and film it. Film putting it in the back of your car, film yourself taking it out of your car, dropping it off at your post office, and it just film it. And then behind the scenes, so everybody loves behind the scenes, and this is a great spot to do this or that type of videos. um, Farmhouse or classic, like which one do you like? Retro or preppy? What preppy? Yeah, because preppy falls into that classic, and that preppy trend, that plaid preppy trend is coming back. But with the behind the scenes, you can sort of say tumbler or mug, and ask people, get them engaged with your videos. And then I know it's counterintuitive, but to offer tutorials. When you can show people how you make something and all the work that goes into it, sometimes it validates, like, oh, I could never make that, or I don't want to have to buy all that equipment. I would just rather buy the tumbler from you. So showing tutorials is always a great way to get that out there. And then driving traffic, if you're using the My Sawgrass sales and driving traffic to your website, you want to, I love that Sawgrass does the pricing for me and gives me a spot to start with, so I can kind of think about how I want to set up my store and how I want to sell to my customers. So this is always a great way to start that out and get started here and fill it out, and then drive your traffic here. So one thing, have a QR code at your booth. So want to see more? Here's my QR code. Or want to get in touch with me? Here's my QR code. So anything you can do to drive that traffic back to your website, your Facebook group, your Sawgrass store is all good. Okay, and then let's talk a little bit about your pricing. If you're new to figuring out your pricing, these are some of the tips that I use and have used in the past. So to calculate your costs, you want to determine the cost of your materials, your labor, your overhead for each item. So it's like the raw cost of the materials. So if you're using the blank, how much did that blank cost you? How much does it cost you to package that up once you've sold it? Um, are there booth fees that you need to account for if you're doing a craft show? Do you have to pay for utilities for that craft show? So calculate your costs, and then consider the time that you have spent not only creating the product, but also the time in marketing it, getting to the show, and having it in a space to sell. So you sort of estimate how long it takes to make each item and how long it takes to get to the show. And you'll kind of divide that out and be like, all right, I'm taking 100 items. It took me 20 hours to get ready. So I'm just going to divide that out. So I'll add, 50 cents to each product for just the time at the market. Research your market price. Your Sawgrass store is a great place to start. You can look on Etsy, is another place to kind of get a good average price range. And If you use an analytics on Etsy, you can use that analytics to get a price for that item and how much of that item has sold. So somebody may have something on sale for $50, but they haven't sold any of that item versus another store that has it marked at $30 and they've sold 100 of that item. So you know, like, okay, people at the $30 price are selling it. So you want to take that into consideration and then consider your profit margin. So you have to account for your time and your, how much money you want to make in the process so that either you can reinvest it in the business, you can cover your expenses, and you can earn a sustainable income. So the other one, I love this perceived value. What's the perceived value of an item? So sometimes you may make an item that costs you 10 cents in materials and 10 minutes to make. So you might say like, well, I would sell this item for, $1. But what's the perceived value of that item? How much does somebody look at that item and go, oh no, I would pay $5 for that item? Um, so take that into account. And then your test pricing. This is where you can really use your online resources as well as your current base and to like put up an item and see, well, will it sell at $20? Yes, it's sold out in 2 minutes. Okay, so I can bump that price up to $25, or I put it on for $35 and nobody's bought it. So let me drop it down a little bit and see if it sells. And then you always want to clearly display your prices and provide information about your materials where you can, if you have that information, and who the craftsman is behind your products. I think offering who you are and your skill set that you bring to the table, that increases the value of your product. So you want to kind of helps you justify your pricing. And then lastly is to offer a variety of products. I know we talked about this previously about having, a range of items. You're small and you're big. You may only sell one big, but you might sell 50 small items like your ornaments, your pens, smaller price items. So that sort of evens it out. I also think when we're talking about pricing, to stay flexible with your prices. So you may want to be prepared to accept an offer, a reasonable offer if a customer were to say, well, I really like that, but you've got it marked 55. Would you take 50? So, we have to think about it. Is it worth selling that item today for the $50 or going home with that item, hoping to sell it for 55 in the future? So I think that staying flexible in your pricing allows you to maximize your strategy to sell the most at the market or during that season. The other thing I like about staying flexible is having the ability to, towards the end of the day or the end of the weekend, put items on sale, like a buy one, get one 50% off, or buy one, get one free, whatever you might want to, however you want to be able to increase your sales of that item so you don't have to pack that item home. I think I just want to make sure, okay, that's everything. And then lastly, your formula. This is just my simple formula. You can go back and take in all those other things into account. But on the formula, I always want to consider my materials and my labor, the overhead, plus the profit. And that will equal the cost of the item. So materials, labor, overhead, and profit. And sometimes, again, like if you've built in a 50% profit margin and you say, I'd rather sell this stock so that I can reinvest in my business because I'm seeing other people at this show are selling a lot of the classic Christmas designs, and I really invested in the farmhouse designs, but I can sell these classics, or I can sell these farmhouse today and then invest in the classic style. So having a little bit of wiggle room in your profit margin is sometimes good, because then you can say, you know what, I can mark this down 25%. That comes out of my profit, but I sell that item for the day. And then just some tips and tricks as you're getting ready to go to your market is do your research. Know before you go, who are you selling to? Why are they coming to that market? What is the expected purchase of each person? So how much do you expect people to spend at that market when they come in? Are you, what's the demographics of the area you're going to? You want to have your inventory created. And if you're doing personalization and customization, think about how are you going to do that on the spot? Do you bring your printer? Do you bring your heat press? Do you take orders? Are you prepared to take orders and ship out or deliver? Your booth design and your layout, huge. I can't tell you how many times I think, did they think about this before they came to the show? Your booth design and layout will make a huge difference on your sales. If you have only one entry point in and out of your booth, it makes it hard for people to get in or get out. If you don't have your products staggered and displayed, iron your tablecloth. It's such a simple thing. Iron your tablecloth before you go, or bring your iron with you and just give it a quick iron so that everything lays smoothly on your table. If you have a tablecloth with a crease in it and you're trying to set a plate on that or set something on that, that crease is going to make that item unstable and it could fall over. Have your sales supplies handy. So, what are you taking? Venmo? Are you doing Square? Do you have, are you doing a paper receipt? Do you have a cash register? Are you able to take cash and checks? So make sure you have those sales supplies handy if you have to make change. How are you going to handle tax? Do you build the tax into your pricing, or do you add tax on right there? Have your items obviously priced, your payment, promote your item, your event in advance. So part of those videos we suggest, one of them might be behind the scenes getting ready for the fair. Like here's the tent I'm using in my living room with the tables and my tablecloths, and we're walking in around it. Videotape that. Like people find that kind of stuff interesting, because then you can do the follow-up video that says, here's how the market went. Here's what my booth looked like. Here's what went well. Here's what I would change. So you're reaching out to a variety of a variety of customers, people who will be interested in seeing all the different things that you're working on. So they may be fellow booth mates, but that's a community in and of itself. And then they may be current customers or future customers. So you never know who your videos are hitting. But just have fun with them. Those videos will really, I can't tell you how much the videos and your graphics will make a big difference for what you do in your booth. I use Canva a lot to do my graphics, and they have so many templates that are available. You could just take like 4 or 5 templates and reuse those designs over and over again by tweaking and changing it. So you may have the same design, but let me go back. Let me share my screen again here. This is what I mean by using the same design. So if I go back, this is my presentation was all done in Canva. If I go back to these ideas here, you may do your marketing on a page that has the classic Christmas border and just change out that border, same border, same kind of graphics. You've got the retro border, you have your sustainable border, and then you have your farmhouse border. So the pictures I was happy with my layout. I just changed out those pictures. So it's sort of the same thing with your marketing. If you want to keep it easy and you're like, I don't have really a lot of time to market, I need to be making product. I really recommend using Canva to lay out your marketing, and then you just download it and upload it. And if you do the paid subscription, you can actually schedule your marketing to go out through Canva to your social media accounts, Instagram and Facebook. So something to think about. All right. Well, Rhonda, I think we just have a few minutes left for any questions. If anybody had questions or if anybody wanted to share anything, we can certainly do that. Again, all the items I showed you for the slides were all from Heat Press Nation. And I think they've got a lot of fun things to work with there. Those kitchen items are just going to be a fun nugget. I think you'll have fun with those this season too. And the ornaments. I mean, ornaments are always a great seller.
They are, and ornaments are so great because people can use them not only as ornaments but as gift tags. And so
Mhm.
that's a good thing to, if you're doing a booth of any kind, to have that on your table as an example, a gift with that as a gift tag. Also, it's a good thing to add into the description in your My Sawgrass store.
Mhm.
All right,
Oh,
no
yeah.
questions so far, Kesley.
Right. Well, great.
You know,
Well, you guys, I think, oh, go ahead.
with ornaments, I tell people this all the time. I sell them year round. Never pull them from your store.
Mhm.
Ever. Because somebody might have a baby in June and grandma wants to buy that baby's first Christmas ornament when the baby's born and put it away for Christmas.
Yeah.
So I've had people who have, through whatever happens, have lost all of their memory ornaments due
Mhm.
to flooding, fire. Husband forgot to move the box is a real popular one. And they try and replace them and they will order year round.
Yeah. Yeah. And people plan ahead. Like if they know that they buy ornaments to gift to people, I buy my kids one ornament every year and I'm always looking all year for that one ornament that I'm gonna get them that year. So they really will buy them every year. And another fun thing on the ornaments, which we've talked about in the past, like how to engage people in your booth and get them to stay there a little bit longer. If you have like a little box, let me grab a box I have here that you can use. Like it's like just a little shelf, something like this. And you can put ribbon in here, just different colors of buffalo checks, different sheer ribbons or anything like that. And then you can even have a little pair of scissors and a measurement, and or you can do it yourself if you don't want people cutting. But have that out there, and then they can choose what ribbon they want with their ornament. Always a fun idea, and that does get like the kids get involved in that then too, and that brings in their little clutch of $5 or $10 to buy their ornament for mom, and gift that away.
I pre-cut the ribbon before I go. It's a lot of work,
Mhm.
but it stops them from cutting too much ribbon. Little pause, because those places they sell things like funnel cakes and gooey things, and you
Like a
can't.
cotton candy.
Yeah, you can't always stop them. They're quick, they're sneaky. So I
Yes,
cut
yeah.
I cut it first, and then I have samples on a board, and then I give them with their purchase. It's real easy just to pull it out.
This is
And
the
it's the perfect amount. Nobody's wasting anything. And again, they mean well, but those little weary fingers aren't all over my stuff.
Mhm.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you all so much. Thank you, Rhonda, for having me. And I looking forward to being back where we're heating up the press and throwing paper around.
All right. Well, thank you, Kesley. Everyone have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye.